So one common mistake candidates make is failing to remain professional during interview. Sometimes you get comfortable, you really like the person you're speaking with, the environment, it just feels right, and you let an off-color joke slip or, something along those lines.
As you're starting to loosen up, languages start to change, jokes start to be told. You may go out to lunch and it starts to become more of a friendship type of environment. But remember, the whole entire time you are on an interview. Stay formal, stay professional.
It's a good way for companies to see if candidates, how they act outside of the work environment. And by not acting appropriately during this dinner meeting, kind of gives the company an inside look at the candidate.
When the first questions out of their mouth is a "what is the company going to do for me?" type of question, unless they're a really, really high demand and the employer is so desperate that they're just going to have to take somebody, they have already pretty much blown the interview.
When somebody asks you why you're looking to leave your current role, don't just name them money or why would you join this company and think money's important. Pretty much the market is what the market is. Whether you're applying in Kentucky or Tennessee, Alabama, Chicago, California, manufacturing engineers are going to pay relatively the same amount of money.
What we kind of coach them on is not to bring up money at all in the process, and make sure that the client is interested in you and that you're interested in the company. The money will come. It'll come later on in the process as we get later on to them deciding on whether they're going to hire you or not.
At the end of the interview, the very end of the interview, a lot of candidates feel happy that it's over. They're stressed out, they're maybe intimidated. More often than not, I'd say 95% of the time, the employer is going to ask you, do you have any questions? That's your opportunity to ask intelligent questions and to show them that you're engaged in the conversation. But a lot of candidates don't, and that's a very big mistake.
If the hiring manager is the one asking questions the whole time, it's going to feel very one-sided. You want to give them the opportunity to brag about their position, brag about their department, and of course let the candidate, or let you as the candidate, know why they're in that position.
Not only do they not ask questions, but they also don't listen to the responses. So say you ask what kind of problems that they're looking for this person to come in and solve. You need to then listen and say, okay, well, can I solve that problem? If so, maybe I have an example where I solved that problem at my former employer. That's important information.
Another mistake candidates make on interviews is not projecting enthusiasm and interest in the job.
The reason why that's so detrimental actually is because it makes it seem like you have no interest in the company. If you really want the job, you want to show, first and foremost, wow, this company's great. Is this really, are you guys really the top 5 company in your business? Or it also shows that you're excited about the position and you're excited about the opportunity.
If you want the position, ask for it. Can't tell you how many times people will assume the interviewer is gonna give it to you just because you were there. No, and I can tell you, you might not even be the most qualified candidate, but if you're excited about the opportunity and you tell them you want it, it's gonna put you ahead of somebody that may be more qualified than you.
One of the most unfortunate mistakes that people can make is they don't ask what's next. They're afraid or intimidated, or they're scared to press an employer and say, well, where do we go from here?
The reason why this is a mistake is maybe the company doesn't know if the candidate's serious or they really want to come work there.
You just don't know exactly how they're going to handle something like that, so you do have to read your audience, but I would always wrap up the interview by saying something to the effect of, if they ask you if you have any other questions, this is typically how I would have them transition into kind of closing the interview. No, I think we've been very thorough, and between you and the other people I've met with, I think I have a very good understanding of what you're looking for. I believe I bring the requisite skills to the table to be able to make an impact on day one, and I look forward to joining your team if you think I'm the best person for the job. And what that does, it's a very unassuming way, it's a very uncocky way, a non-arrogant way of saying, I want the job. but it doesn't turn them off.
A way that I help candidates prepare for interviews is, first and foremost, I just talk to them, see where their head's at going into it. So if they are anxious or nervous going into it, I can kind of talk them down, calm them down, and they're really prepped for the interview.
We can tell them who it is that they'll be meeting with and how each of those people fit into the structure of the company and how they're relevant to what their job is going to be.
I take a very hands-on approach, all right? I will provide the candidate all the information they need to do the research prior to the interview.
We present not only your resume, but the information from our conversation. So you now avoid the black hole of the internet. You're not submitting to a machine. I'm working with not only the hiring manager, but the people involved in making the decision. And so your information is going to be presented directly to them.
Make sure that you have a list of questions, not only for yourself to answer, but also questions to answer the companies, because as much as a company is interviewing you, you're interviewing the company, and that's something that candidates commonly forget.
At the end of the interview, they're ready to take the job, get the job, and ask for the job.